It's the Merseyside derby this weekend, but it's a tough one for Everton. Can they do a miracle and play up to the XG gods who've been hurting them so far this season and beat Liverpool at Anfield, ladies and gentlemen? Kweku, how are we feeling about Everton right now in terms of the possibility of springing a surprise against Liverpool? Because, again, we just did a preview talking about Chelsea and Arsenal, and if you look at positions in the table, it's an easy win for Arsenal. But I think in both games, there's a sort of undercover feeling with both teams playing in blue that there's a chance for Everton in this one after what was a cracking victory against Bournemouth in their last game before the break.
Can I ask you a question? Would you think that Everton had a chance in this game if it wasn't a 12:30 kickoff against Liverpool?
Probably. I mean, and I think if it was at Goodison as well, I think they might have a chance. I think there's something in this.
Really?
I do. I think they're looking more and more effective. I'm wary of saying it because I think the Bournemouth game was a woeful display from Bournemouth, a naive display from Bournemouth as well in that one. But I think a Sean Dyche side, with the players that he's got there, and with DCL fit, I think you have a chance of being compact, of hurting the opposition, of pinching a lead. Dyche has got history in terms of beating Liverpool at Anfield, did it with Burnley. And as I say, in terms of creating efficient chances with the size that this team has, yes, I think there's two ways of looking at it. They've had a lot of games at home against weaker opposition in the Premier League. And the Wolves game, the Fulham game, the Bournemouth game, all games that they've utterly dominated, should have got more points from those games, created a lot. And we'll see where those guys are. You would imagine they'll be down there at the end of the season, will have conceded quite a few goals. But at the same time, they are creating that XG. They are creating those chances. And I don't think they feel as toothless as they have previously. I guess everything I've said there, Dan, put that up against a Liverpool side that the thing that people go to is their defensive record. Do you think that Everton do have a chance in this one?
I think Everton will score. I think it will maybe be closer than a lot of people would perceive.
Why do you think they'll score?
Just because I think they've turned a corner now. I think they've missed the most big chances in the Premier League. I think it's 21 so far that they've missed this season in terms of
28
big chances. 28, though.
Second in the league, yeah.
So, they've missed a lot of big chances. I think if you'd watched Everton, a lot of the build-up play was pretty good. Yes, it's Dyche ball. But, it was effective. They've created chances, but they weren't putting it away. I think in recent games, they've hit the stride now. They know where the goal is again. I think often when a team comes out of that, they'll go on a run of games where they'll score goals. The problem is that I just think they'll concede more in this game. I don't think they'll be able to handle Liverpool coming forward. Salah was back at it against Brighton. Not that he's ever really off it. In fairness, he was looking a massive threat again in front of goal. Darwin, if he plays, he's kind of in the groove now. He's looking more effective than he did last season. Diaz is a sensational player. Having him back's a game changer for them. He completely changes and reinvents the way that Liverpool are able to go forward down that side. I think it's gone under the radar as well that Liverpool are in the midst of a mini rebuild. So it's kind of like Liverpool 3.0 here with what they're doing in their midfield. So they've got essentially a brand new central midfield, but Szoboszlai is a really, really good player. He's taken to the Premier League really quickly. So I think Liverpool will have too much to hurt Everton. But if it becomes a tight game, where I think Everton can hurt Liverpool is set plays. I think it's gone a little bit unnoticed that Fabinho I think he was on a downward trajectory with Liverpool, but he was big for set plays. He added size to that team. Everton are probably the biggest team in the Premier League. Fabinho's no longer there. Van Dijk's not the most aerially dominant. Konate is, if he plays alongside Van Dijk, it could be Joe Gomez, it could be Matip. Yeah. So I do think there's ways and avenues that Everton can hurt Liverpool, but I would think Liverpool will have too much going forward.
The word that both of you have used there is effective for Everton, and that's what they are. They now look like a Sean Dyche side, and it's interesting. When he first came to Everton, he almost saw Dominic Calvert-Lewin as the pet project. He'd always be talking about DCL in terms of he's coming back from injury at this time, and we need him to do this or do that, and now he's back in the rhythm of things, it seems. Obviously, touch wood, because he's very, very injury prone. And like you say, you've got Doucouré playing in this weird faux number 10 role. So 4-4-2 essentially, but Doucouré does a bit more and drops into midfield when needed to. And if you look at the Sean Dyche side that he had at Burnley, you talk about their XG this season not being great. Like when he was at Burnley, their XG was amazing because Chris Wood was banging in double figure goals in the Premier League for 4 consecutive seasons. They need DCL to do that for them if they want to have a chance of staying up. Obviously, a lot of people are looking at the promoted teams of the 3 teams to go down this season, and you probably throw Bournemouth into that mix as well. But I think that this Everton team are effective and have kind of embodied what Sean Dyche is as a manager, and they might give Liverpool problems, but we know about Liverpool's goal scoring exploits this season. They can score goals from wherever, and Szoboszlai has been an addition to that, as well as their front three. You can substitute any of those players in and they can be effective. So I expect Liverpool to run out comfortable winners, but if Everton do make things tricky and the fans do start to turn a little bit at Anfield, then we could be maybe in for a shock.
So when it comes to Liverpool's starting lineup, I think one area, say with a couple of weeks left of the transfer window, the concern was the midfield, but the thing that you felt like you had, a plethora of options with was the forward line. Going into this game, lots changed, where you've actually got quite a few options in midfield for that midfield three. But then the striker position, at the time of recording, we don't know about Hakpo and if he's going to be fit, but it feels like it could be Jota or Nunez as that central striker, Diaz on the left, Salah on the right. If you were Jurgen Klopp, apart from enjoying your teeth, who would you choose out of those two? Because Jota will be one that will look to kind of find those spaces. He's a little bit more ghostly, whereas Darwin Nunez he's a bit of an XG sort of machine himself, but might not take those same chances and is more of a physical presence. Which one do you think is going to hurt Everton more?
On the face of it, what you've said makes sense with Jota, because you'd expect Everton to sit deep. But I actually think what I mentioned earlier with the set pieces and the size, I think that probably means Darwin will start, because he just gives them that advantage from defending set pieces. Although Jota's good in the air, he's not going to be as effective at defending set pieces. Yeah,
I probably agree with that. But the thing about Darwin Núñez is he's so effective off the bench. He adds an injection of pace, of liveliness to a game that I don't think maybe Jota does.
Is he going to get sort of pigeonholed into that role, do you think, this year?
It's weird, because that's what the discourse is at the moment with Darwin, and I think he's a striker that's got so much potential, and we were all kind of waiting for him to pop this season, and he showed it in spurts. Obviously the game away against Newcastle was evidence of what he can do, but I just think in games where Liverpool are going to be controlling things and possibly will have like 60-70% of the ball, I don't know, I think Diogo Jota might be a better option than Darwin Núñez off the bench if you need a goal.
You can't have £85 million for a super sub, surely.
I was talking to a Chelsea fan, we do it.
Yeah, Darwin Núñez's stats: 3 goals, 6 big chances missed, a conversion rate of 18%. The conversion rate of Jota is 20%, hasn't missed a big chance, but has only scored 2 goals. So it's kind of tight between the two. It's an interesting one. Let us know in the comments who you think should be starting up front if it was down to those two. In terms of the midfield, you talk about Fabinho not being there. Is this a game where you don't want McAllister as a 6? Do you want to play him a little bit higher? And is it someone like Endo who could come and play in that position, or Gravenberch?
I think you want Endo in this game, because as much as you expect Liverpool to dominate it, Everton will be effective.
You need a big guy, don't you?
Yeah, you need an anchor to protect the back four, because Everton can be quite dangerous in transition. If you look at McNeil and you look at Harrison, they can affect teams on the break. And so having that anchor who's not going to move from that position and protecting the back four is important in a game like this, because that's how Everton are going to hurt you. So I would opt for Endo in this game, but it's a fluid midfield. And like you say, it's a rebuilding process. I think they're trying to find out what their best midfield is. So it's anybody's guess what they go with, but I'd like to see a more defensively minded midfield that anchor that midfield.
Totally agree. I think it's a must, personally, because I think for Everton, they're going to look to play that pass into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or even 2 of the wide players. They will sort of come and get involved as well, Doucouré as well. So you want someone defensively minded, and when you talk about set pieces, another big guy to help out when you look at the Everton side and the size that they've got. Prediction time. What are we saying? I know, Kweku, you feel like it's going to be a comfortable Liverpool win.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to say 4-1 Liverpool.
Oh!
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, done.
3-1, but I think it'll be closer than that score suggests.
I've got a funny feeling, guys.
Don't do it.
I've got a funny feeling. I think Liverpool win this one. Don't I do think Everton will score. I agree with you. I've got a funny 2-2 in my head. I'm going to throw that out there just for a bit of fun, just to keep the Everton fans happy. Let us know your predictions in the comments down below.